teaching platform. In this video, we shall look at how best to apply the various rules of differentiation. Now, we will be focusing on one of the rules, that is the power rule, and we also know how best we'll be able to determine a rule that works for a given function. Some of the functions, when you have them, you have to know the rule that will work perfectly for that given function. Because some will be complex, so there's no need for you to use any rule. You have to identify the rule that will make it simple. All right. So let us focus on the power rule. Now, let us look at the power rule for now. So we are just learning how to apply them. All right. Now, let's take the first question that we have here. Suppose I have my first question to be y to be equal to y to be equal to 2x squared minus 3x plus 6. Now, how do we differentiate this function? How do we differentiate this function? There's no need for you to use the first principles since you have not been restricted to that particular rule. So the best rule to use is the power rule. All right. So let us find our dy dx, so which is the same as the y prime. Now, when you have your y prime, we have learned in one of the videos that to differentiate a given expression, you multiply the expression by the power of the independent variable. So it's going to be the power here is 2. So we are going to multiply everything here by 2. So it's going to be 2 times 2x. Then the x here, the power of it will be reduced by 1. Then we have the power of x multiplying 3 to be 1. So we are going to multiply our negative 3x by 1. So we have our negative here. So 1 times 3x. So let me put this one over here. 1 times 3x. Then the power of the x here also will be reduced by 1. Now we know that the derivative of any constant is equal to 0. So we can make here to be 0. Alright. So let us continue to work on it. So we are going to get our y prime to be equal to 2 times 2 give us 4. Then x having a power of 2 minus 1. So the power becomes 1. Then we have negative 1 multiplying 3, and that will be a negative 3. Alright, so we have the x here, then having a power of 1 minus 1, which will give us 0. And this will give us 4x, because there's no need for you to bring the 1. Then we have minus 3 multiply x exponent 0. You know that any number raised to the power 0 except 0 is equal to 1. So x exponent 0 is equal to 1, provided x is not equal to 0. Then that one multiplies the negative 3, and that will give us negative 3. Therefore, we conclude that our dy dx, will be equal to 4x minus 3. 4x minus 3. All right. Now let's look at a second example and see how best we can differentiate it. So if I have y to be equal to 2x having a power of negative 2, then plus 6x having a power of 3, then minus 1/3 x having a power of negative 4. Now, how do we differentiate this? How do we differentiate this particular expression? So that's what we'll be looking at. So it's going to be our y prime, which will be equal to, now we need to identify the power. So the power of the first independent variable is negative 2. So it's going to be negative 2 multiplying a given term, which is 2x minus 2, but we are going to reduce the power by 1, so minus 1. Then we continue to the next term, and the power of the next term is 3. So we have plus, then 3 multiplying 6x, and we are going to reduce the power also by, so 3 minus 1. All right. Then we have the third term to be negative 1/3 multiply x exponent negative 3. So we bring our negative first. Then we are now going to bring down the power, which is negative 4, which will multiply 1/3. Then we are going to reduce the power by 1. So we have negative 4. So it will be negative 4 minus 1. All right. So let us continue. So this part becomes negative 2 times positive 2 gives us negative 4 x. Then the power is negative 2 minus 1. So we are going to get negative 3. Then the second part, we have 3 times 6, which will give us 20. I think we are going to get 18 rather, not 20. So we are going to get 18. Then x having a power of 3 minus 1. So the power becomes 2. Then the next term, we have negative 1 outside multiplying negative 4 multiplying 1/3. So we are going to get positive 4 out of 3 x. So then we have x having a power of negative 4 minus 1. So it becomes negative 5. All right. So this becomes the value of our derivative. So we conclude that our dy dx is equal to negative 4x exponent negative 3 plus 18x squared plus 4 out of 3x exponent negative 5. All right. Let's look at another example. Let's assume that we have our function to be y is equal to square root of x. How do we differentiate this? How do we differentiate? We have to now rewrite the function as y is equal to x having a power of half. Square root of a number is the same as the number exponent half. Let us verify. If I have square root of 4, we know it to be equal to 2. Now let us verify whether 4 exponent half is the same as 2. So if I have 4, I can write it square root of 4, I can write as 4 exponent half. And this will be equal to 4 can be expressed as 2 exponent 2. But there is a power outside it, so we bring it back. So we are going to now get it as 2. Now this power here multiply this, so we are going to get 2 times the power outside, which is half. So we are going to get it as 1, and that will be 2 exponent 1, and it is equal to 2. So it implies that our function y is equal to the square root of x can be expressed as y is equal to x in bracket in in bracket having a power of 1/2. All right. So we can now apply the power rule. So we have our y prime to be equal to, bring down the power, which is half. Then we have here to be x. Then we will reduce the power also by 1. So half minus 1. And this will give us our y prime to be equal to half then of x, where x has a power of 1/2 minus 1. So we are going to get negative 1/2. All right. So we need to rewrite the x. We can write our x as, we can write the expression as our y prime is equal to half of x in bracket power negative or half. Now we need to get rid of the negative power. So we want it to be positive. So we need to interchange. We know that the x here is the same as x over 1. So you'll be getting our y prime to be equal to half. Then interchange it to get it as 1 over x. then here becomes positive. All right. Now, the power will be applied to each of the terms in the fraction. So, the numerator and the denominator of the fraction. So, 1 power half will give us 1. And x power half will still be x having a power of what? Half. All right. So, let us continue. And know that half being a power of any expression is the same as the square root of that expression. So, we have our half, which is already outside here. Then we have 1 out of square root of what? X in the bracket, and this will give us 1/2 of 1 over square root of x. So this one will multiply the 1. The numerator here multiply this numerator, so we are going to get 1. And the 2 here will multiply the square root of x. So this will give us 2 square root of x. All right. So we'll be looking at more examples in our subsequent videos. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Math with Ebefa. Bye.